right. Well, welcome to Chop It Up for this, the 15th, right, of November. Here in 2022, we have survived another election. I think we'll definitely talk about that. But this is the channel where we do, or the podcast where we do conversations about pretty much anything we want to, all off the top, off the dome, completely unscripted. My name is Kevin, host of the podcast. And because we can, that's right. Because we can.
That's right.
My name is Kevin. I'll let the fellas introduce themselves, and then I'll give I got two hot takes to start our show off with before we jump into our topic.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do. Tari Watkins, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where apparently the snow comes rushing down the plain. Wasn't expecting that the past few days, but honestly, it feels great to me. I like it. It's nice and crisp. It's not cold. It's crisp. But I'm enjoying it though. Apparently, our winter's supposed to be bad, and Kev, I don't want to hear it. Anyway, Darian, what you got?
Hi. That's what I got. Hi. This is Darian, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think I'm happy to be here.
You think? You don't know?
This is going to be interesting. I'm so far so good. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. First of all, it's basketball season. Interesting little statistic that we're seeing.
Oh God.
The Lakers are 3-10.
Yes.
And this may have been a day or two ago, but they're 3-10.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that in context. They've played 13 games. They've won 3. They've lost 10. Almost very similar to LeBron's finals records, but we won't go there for that. But the Lakers are 3-10. But here's the nugget that's there. When LeBron is playing, they're 0-10. When he's out, they're 3-0.
That is an interesting statistic.
It is an interesting stat. Small sample size, but it's an interesting stat.
Very interesting, actually.
Very interesting.
I mean, you can't argue that.
No.
What's the Warriors record, by the way?
3-0 without him?
What's the Warriors record, by the way? Do we know that?
I know they've had a pretty rough road trip, is what I saw.
Are they the defending champs?
They are.
Okay. But we're not talking about them and how bad they've been at the beginning of the season.
But they're not
currently
the greatest
6-8
of all time. But they're not. No one there is claiming to be the greatest of all time.
I'm just saying, if we're going to start throwing shade, I mean, we got the whole rest of the league to throw shade at. Again, I'm not saying that what you just said is not true. I mean, you can't argue.
I'm just pointing out facts. I'm just pointing. Numbers don't lie.
You can't point out facts about other teams that are apparently punching each other in the face and don't have a winning record, and they just got their rings. But that's okay.
Okay,
that's all right.
It's okay.
What? I love how
this saltiness has nothing to do with Kev. It has to do with Mike McCarthy. That's a whole nother story. Mike McCarthy can go kick rocks for all I care right now. We're going to go for it on 4th and 4 in overtime when we can't just kick a field goal. Oh, and what did we lose by? A field goal. You know what?
You need us to pray for you?
Oh, prayer is not going to help this. This is a straight exorcism. That's what this is. I don't get it, man. Kia is my witness. I'm sitting right there. What are you? I turned it. When we didn't get the 4th down, I didn't even watch it. I literally started watching something else. I said, I can't do this. And I haven't done that in a long time. Coaching.
So okay. So my only question is this different?
No.
From any other year?
No, it's not.
So
terrible penalties. I mean, personal fouls. Just
Mhm.
No structure, no discipline. No, it's no different. Yes, it's insanity. I'm expecting different results
Okay, as
with
long
no change.
as wrong.
I'll call my own self out. Listen, hey, just saying.
Listen, I understand. I mean, my Bears lost. First of all, the Bears have been not performing well this year, but they lost by 1 point.
Hey, Justin Fields is coming into his own, though, man. I mean,
He is,
and they
but
got
they lost by
Claypool,
1
so hopefully
point.
that chemistry will be there here soon.
But let me point out, they lost by 1 point to
Yes.
Detroit.
Yes. I know. That one hurts. That one hurts.
So,
Detroit.
yeah.
It's called Any Given Sunday for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah, ask the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank God.
Ooh-wee.
They
Yeah.
lost to the no-name football team.
Who's about to be sold?
You know why I say that? Because nobody wants to call them the Commanders.
Yeah.
Not even their own fans. They said, "Can we go back to Washington football team, please?"
Well, they might with a new owner.
Yeah.
Very well may.
Yeah, they just might.
Sorry, I waited 2 days to get it off my chest. My apologies.
I got you.
Here's the thing, man. As an owner, I don't care NBA, MLB, or NFL right now.
Yeah.
The way the values have increased over the last 10 years.
Mhm.
Exponentially.
If you force a sale, they're still not hurting.
They're getting
No.
billions of dollars.
No.
And I emphasize the B for a reason. Billions.
Snyder's going to walk
of dollars.
away saying, "Darn it, I don't have a box seat anymore.
Darn
it."
On his way to the bank.
Right.
Or I have to pay for my box now.
Right.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, literally, that's about it. Somebody, I can't remember who interviewed Mark Cuban. I think it was Kevin Hart. Interviewed Mark Cuban and asked him how much he actually bought
In the
Dallas
ice bath
for.
thing, Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. He bought it for, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, $27 million.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that much
Yeah.
comparatively.
Yeah.
Jerry
And
Jones the same way.
yeah, it's worth $2 billion now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, these teams are worth, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, how did the valuation just jump that far? But
That's two 999 millions and give another million.
Yep.
I mean, that's literally what that is.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, these owners, man. I mean, if you strip them, yeah, they just don't have the title of ownership anymore. But they're walking away with,
which a lot of them covet, because you are a member of a 32 member club that's exclusive that nobody else is a part of. I
around
don't
the world. You're absolutely right.
I don't disagree with the magnitude of that. You're in a club that only 32 people are allowed in. You're one of them, and nobody else can get it. It's exclusive. You don't add members. You don't take members away. That's just the way it is. It's 32 of them. It's an exclusive club. I get that.
And you can discriminate without saying you're discriminating.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And you can discriminate, and guess what? The other ones will back you up and say, "No, we're not going to kick them out. We're not going to vote that, because if they come up with something on me, they're going to vote me out too."
Yep.
Oh yeah, everyone, all of them are dirty on some level.
They all got dirt on some. Yep.
Hey, it was the way Darian just said. He said all of them are dirty. I mean, it's that's a whole nother. You didn't say just dirty. You said dirty. I mean, you almost put a syllable in that one.
Man, listen. Every time one of them gets negative press, if you'll notice, every time one of them gets negative press, you can't find none of them to talk to.
No.
We have one exception this year. Irsay. He was the one exception, and this is the dude. I'm like, are you really? Are you sure this is what you want to do?
Irsay's not the one that should be talking. But
hey, but here's the thing: his stuff is probably already out there, and he's still an owner. So he's like,
right.
What have I got to lose?
Yeah, man.
He's the first one.
That's the most public secret society in the world.
All right. Speaking of secret societies, we all watched. Well, I know the three of us have watched.
Yes.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Okay.
Yes.
This is my second hot take.
Yes.
The villain never changed in the two movies. Between Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the villain remained the same. You ready for me to let you all? No, not necessarily spoil. If it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah, are you sure you wanna?
I'm just going to simply say that the two people that in the first one, Killmonger, and then the second one, I don't think it's a spoiler to say Namor is the antagonist.
Right.
They are antagonists, but the actual villain is the United States of America.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that. I get that though.
Oh, and I get that. You probably shouldn't have said that though.
I get that. Here's that's deep though. Because that is such I hadn't even thought about that. That is such a political statement. Yeah, you're not wrong at all.
But here's the thing. That thread has already been woven through the Marvel universe anyway. With the ending of Falcon Winter Soldier, also at the ending of Black Widow, because she's in that. They've already started sewing that thread anyway.
Oh, I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the United States.
Well, I
America.
mean, she's part of the
United States of America.
Okay.
Not that character. The United States.
But they've actually been setting up to be completely against the Avengers total.
Say it again.
The way they've threaded that is that they've actually set up the United States to stand against. To actually stand against.
That's how Civil War came about. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, so they've been weaving that thread for a while.
That's deep.
I don't know if you guys are getting it though, because what I'm saying is in the first movie, you have Killmonger, right? And what was his issue? His issue was the way people of color have been treated around the world. Yeah. And what I saw from my eyes as a young man growing up in America, I want to make the world burn.
Okay, so you're
okay. Stop. Okay,
Ryan Cooper. So
Kevin, don't say
nothing. To get to you, Kev. It took us just a little bit.
Don't you say another, not a man.
But if you've seen the movie,
we're supposed to be eating this with forks and knives, and we got straws trying to consume this thing. That's really what just happened, y'all. Kev was serving up some stuff, and Darian and I weren't ready yet. But guess what? We're here now. We got it. We're good. He was patient with us. There's a lesson there somewhere. There's a sermon there somewhere too.
Yeah.
We got you, Kev. We got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
So that's the real villain.
They keep making that statement, but that again, I'm going beyond the fiction and looking at the non-fictional statement that is actually being made.
Right.
That's deep.
That is deep. Yes.
But that is weaved throughout Marvel.
Yes, so Kev, we're slow, but we're worth waiting for.
We do eventually get there.
We're slow, but we're worth waiting for. Just letting you know.
Yes.
Thank you for loving us and being patient with us.
Wow.
But he's like, you don't hear me.
He got to the edge and said, "Okay, if they don't get this," he walked to the edge,
to the very edge.
Exactly.
They started speaking slowly.
Yes.
So we could probably revisit this in a few weeks after more people have seen the movie.
We have to.
But we can revisit. But that's my hot take, that the villain has not really changed.
Wow.
And so here's, I mean, look what Ryan Cooper's done before in the past, though. And I mean, it starts with Fruitvale Station. I mean, so yeah.
Hey, he keeps getting the budgets to say what he wants to say,
and the freedom to do it. Yep.
Is he doing Creed 3? Or was that someone else?
No, Michael B. Jordan, I think, is doing Creed 3.
I think he's
doing it correctly. But was Ryan Cooper a part of it at all, though?
I don't think so.
I know he was the first two.
Yeah,
Michael B.
but I
Jordan is
don't think he's.
directing this one. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
So-
that one. That looks amazing.
Speaking of the United States,
We
Oh,
keep
he
trying
is
to
a
get to that
producer.
election thing. Yeah.
oh, he's a producer. Okay.
He is a producer.
Okay, so he's still part of it.
So yeah, so
But
he's
Michael
definitely
B.
got
Jordan is
some
directing,
right.
right?
So he's still involved with it. Good.
Okay, good. He should be.
Probably
All
means he's like looking
He's
over his shoulder.
mentoring.
Overseer,
Yeah.
Yep.
Making sure he doesn't do anything.
overwatcher, whatever. The watcher. Is that what he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So for all of us, we saw the election happen on last Tuesday. Some
Yep.
of us are still waiting for results in some parts of the country.
Yep.
Thankfully, Arizona is still around, and the walls did not fall here.
Are they still marching?
No, now they're not marching. They what did they? So last night, yeah, there was concern. Police were stationed outside of the county center here in Maricopa. So,
Did the walls come tumbling down?
nope, they didn't. Carrie Lake did say that people know BS when they see it, and of course, her Twitter was the average response to her on Twitter was yes, and that's why we did not elect you.
Why would you go to Twitter with that and not expect any backlash? I mean, seriously? Wow.
Yeah. They had to know that was coming.
So, yes. So this entire red wave, red tsunami has turned to be more like a paper cut as far as the amount of red that has come. There has been some changes. There is the potential still. There's still a small path for Democrats to keep the House, is what I last saw.
It's very slim,
but it's becoming very slim, right?
Very slim,
They have retained the Senate.
Yep.
And now it's just a matter of Georgia realizing that Herschel Walker is not the man. Now, Tori, I know you got something to say about Herschel Walker.
All I know is we live in the greatest country in the United States.
In the United States. This is the greatest country.
That's all I know.
What?
We live in the greatest country.
I literally had to look that up. I'm like, he did not say that. He didn't say that. Yes. No. And was it last night? I'm like, he did not say that. Yes. I Googled it. Father God.
You know what was really funny to me though? If you listen to the applause, it's like this. Do you remember coming to I was about to say, you remember coming to America with Randy Watson?
Oh, what did he just say? God dang, where's my ballot at?
Man, listen, if them folks did not wake up at that point and realize, what have we done?
I mean, he had the wherewithal to change it really quickly. He said, because we're the greatest country in the U.S. world. I mean, U.S. in the world. I mean, he said it really quickly, but he said it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
We live in the greatest country in the United States in the world.
It's exactly how it happened.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, sit down somewhere.
So along with that, in other Herschel Walker news, have you guys heard about the fundraising that's been happening?
No, I have not.
So Donald Trump, the greatest grifter in the world, as well as other Republican figures, have been fundraising for Herschel Walker. And so they've been saying, hey, support Herschel Walker, donate here. But what's been happening is for every $1 that has been donated,
right,
90 cents goes to Trump, 10 cents goes to Herschel.
I'm not shocked.
So they have made him a slave in a house slave, because they're at least giving
you almost said something else.
Yeah, it literally again to the edge.
Dude, right at the edge. But did we not say this already though?
Mm-hmm.
We knew this.
To the point that now Herschel Walker has said, hey, stop fundraising on my behalf. So yeah, so you thought you were giving $100 to Herschel Walker. Nope. Trump walked away with $90 of it.
That's deep. That's deep.
Are we surprised?
No.
No.
Not at all.
But I guess the most disturbing thing is that that's not going to get called out.
No, of
You
course
know,
not.
if there's anything that is completely, um, why would you want to be led by anyone who thinks that that's okay?
Now, are we saying that that doesn't happen for any? No, of course. I'm sure that happens all over the place.
Bro,
I don't know what happens to that level.
Know about it, the fact that you don't have the wherewithal to know that this is going on. That's a problem.
Okay. So first of all, just as a nonprofit fundraiser for a number of years, especially big money, so I understand the premise. Okay.
Yes.
And the premise is, and this is what is normal for major fundraising with bigger organizations. They fundraise for a project, for a particular whatever,
Right.
within the organization.
Right.
Okay, and so yeah, though you're giving $1, 10 cents may actually go to that project, and 90 cents may actually go to the overall operating budget of the organization.
Right.
They don't necessarily advertise that, but in a lot of cases, that type of 70-30 split type of deal happens.
Whatever
within the organization. You can't do that for someone else.
Yes. Right.
We're doing it on your behalf, okay? And so, yeah, because they're giving something to him, it is literally not illegal.
Right.
Yeah, it's deep.
It's funny. It's like you going to McDonald's and spending your money at McDonald's, but 90 cents of it goes to Burger King.
Right.
As long as my fries are hot, I don't care.
And that's the problem.
That is the problem.
And that's the problem.
Because that same attitude is what's happening.
I don't care
in Georgia.
what you do.
Right. Exactly.
Because Georgia is still like, we still supporting Herschel. We still supporting our football player from the greatest state in the United States, of the countries of the world.
You done good, boy.
Jesus.
So
Lord.
they are in a runoff. Herschel Walker and
December 6th.
Raphael Warnock are in a runoff. So we'll see how that goes.
Can I?
We don't need a
the thing that I am deathly afraid of in that runoff is the fact that the more dumb stuff that comes out of Herschel Walker's mouth, the more pub he's gonna get.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is, we are to the point in society now where we are no longer listening. We are only watching. We are literally only scrolling. It doesn't matter what you say. But the guy we see the most is the guy we're going to remember.
Click, 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 click.
That's the scary part of this whole thing.
Yes.
To me, that's the only reason why we're in a runoff. Because he said so many dumb things that would make anyone with sense go, this ain't the dude. I ain't got a problem with Herschel Walker. I got a problem with him going for the job that he's going for and knowing that the state, number one, the state deserves better and has a better choice. I'm not even talking about Republican versus Democrat. I just mean there are better qualified people, period. And yet this guy, because of the things that he says, gets so much media attention, and we are a scroll society. Oh, Herschel. Oh, Herschel. Oh, Herschel.
The other challenge, Ashley said it, yes, stupidity is entertainment. Absolutely.
He's not wrong.
Absolutely.
Speaking of entertainment, before you say anything, Kev, I need somebody to keep a tick sheet because Darian is lit today. I don't know if y'all noticed. I want y'all to notice because he didn't just say stupid. He did the same thing he did with dirty. He said stupid. I mean, so I need somebody to get a tick sheet and count how many times this brother pauses right before and gives an emphasizes. Oh, I need it. It's going to be at least 12 times a day.
At least 12.
I already know.
And is this the over under?
Bit of it.
Is this the over under?
The power of the pause is working tonight. I'm letting you know. Yes. Sorry, Kev, go ahead.
No worries. The other challenge that is with that runoff is because the fate of the Senate, if you will, has been decided as far as
It's
control.
already decided. Yeah.
There is the fear that there could be well, we don't need to go out to the polls because
Right.
the Democrats already have control.
Right.
When really it's like, yeah, but you still
That still
need to make
affects
sure
your
you
state.
vote.
Yeah, that
It's
still affects your
right.
state.
Yeah, it still affects the state. And I mean, if we go back to the last election, they still came out. And I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. I still hope that the love for their state is still what drives them there. So,
Right.
and I think the independent dude, he took 2% of the vote. Is that right?
Yep.
2%. I don't think it was close to 3. So there's still a lot of wiggle room there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't live there, but
Right.
shoot, they still may be pissed about state ratings and may come out in droves and realize they need to put the vote out. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. We'll see.
I don't live there, and I'm pissed at her about that too. Again, I'm like some of these are just no brainers. Like if you want better in your state, let's get away from the party for a second. If you want better in your state, to me it was a no brainer. It was an absolute no brainer. She mentioned and talked about first of all everything she said she was going to do. She did.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
That to me speaks volumes by itself. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an elected official, but watch me do what I say I'm going to do.
Right.
In the political space. And she did it.
And she did it.
In the middle of a red state. She
Mhm.
still pulled off everything she said she was going to do. To me, so automatically, if you have sense, okay, that is someone that's going to get the job done. And have to have negotiations with her. But whatever we agree upon, she's going to drive the point home. To me, it was a no-brainer. But no, again,
Yeah.
whatever you see the most of is and she wasn't, unfortunately, as much as she was out there. I think even her coverage was marginalized.
Oh, tremendously so.
Oh yeah, tremendously.
Tremendously
And
so.
also don't forget, we've also got lazy voters out there too. Lazy. When I say lazy voters, and if you all did this, you know what? I'll take it for what it is. You can tweet me. Doesn't really matter. But straight party, never done straight party. That's lazy voting to me. You have every right to vote for whoever you want to, and do your research. And if you like Stacey Abrams, but you're a Republican and you do straight party, that's lazy voting because you're talking about your state. So we've got a lot of lazy voters out there that just what's that?
But here in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
it may have been lazy voting, but it was safe voting. It was keep a black man safe voting.
No,
It
okay.
was,
Again,
let's not go back to 1842 voting.
It depends on the state and who's running.
Yes.
It just hear me out. It depends on the state and who's running. I mean, you're
Right.
talking to a person that's an independent. So
Yes.
I've never done straight party. I've always gone and
Agreed.
and if you do, I
A
get
lot of the challenge, devil's advocate. A lot of the challenge with that, though, and I found that to be the same thing when I went, was there were a lot of things on the ballot I literally could not find information on prior to make
Right.
a decision. So now I'm looking at state Supreme Court. Should they stay or should they go? I don't know their track record.
Well, here's the with the judges, they don't list party. They don't list anything. When I did the absentee ballot 2 years ago, I literally was at my dining room table for like a day and a half, going through stuff, researching, and that's why I enjoyed it so much doing that way 2 years ago. But when it came to the judges, nothing.
And here's the thing:
And you can't do straight ticket or judges anyway because there is no party affiliation. You literally have to fill each one of those in. So.
And the thing I think we don't pay attention to, we don't pay enough attention to the judges.
Right.
I think we get people hyped up for president. We get people hyped up for senator and governor.
Yeah, we do.
But really, the judges is where it really turns.
It does.
Turns a lot of things. So
and that's important.
I know Tasha and I, that's what we've been doing is we've been paying attention to those judges. We've been doing our research and saying, now here in Arizona does a great job of getting you information well in advance of the election to say, these are the proposals. This is what this means, laying it out, for us to have that information. And I appreciate that because, it gives me the opportunity to say, okay, this proposition, no, we're not doing that. This one, yeah, we want that one. And then, yeah, just looking at judges for that, it takes a little more digging because you do have to go to Judicial Watch type of websites to kind of see what their record are, what their complaints have been, things of that nature.
Well, and they're all party affiliated, even though they don't put the party.
Right.
They're still party affiliated, and if they're
No,
party
they are.
affiliated, yeah, if they're party affiliated, then they're party ticket loyal.
Mhm.
Typically, you know,
Yep.
rarely are they just going to go straight up. Okay, yes, I'm with this party, but I don't agree with half of what you guys are saying or doing, so
Mhm.
I'm going to go my own way. You're just not going to see that. You know,
Yep.
because that's not what got them in the bench in the first place. And so to
Yep.
me, it's a little bit unfair not to know what their party leanings are if I can't at least find the information on their track record.
Yeah.
I would love to see that change. But again, it's even with the voting that they had for in Oklahoma, it was stay or go. It wasn't you know, anything other than that. Should they continue or should they be gone? And I'm like, okay, so if I say no, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I tried to overturn the whole apple cart. I know what state I'm in. I tried to overturn. That was my whole point. Let me listen.
I went straight with the Supreme Court for Arizona. No.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
just let's
Yes, sir. Let's
burn.
just start
Let's
over.
let's let it burn and let's start all over.
Let's burn it to the ground and start from scratch. That's how I felt. I knew, and I don't know what state I'm in.
Mhm.
Tori, I'm like you. I'm an independent. All right, so I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
gonna. I'm going through. Um,
like a
and,
fine tooth comb.
yeah,
Mhm.
and did my best to get as much information as
Yep.
possible going in,
Mhm.
just
Yep.
because I, if I, I take my vote seriously. I just do.
You
Mhm.
should.
Mhm.
I just
Absolutely.
do. Not to go into any deep history or scenario. There was a time when I didn't have it, so I've taken it very, very
Right.
seriously now.
Yes.
It is what it is. But man, I honestly think they ought to make election days, national holidays, federal
Absolutely.
holidays. I
It
really do.
should be.
And they
If
should
you really
make it
want
so
people to take
that
it that seriously, that's what you need to do.
Give them
But
a day off.
if
Yes.
they do that, though, the problem with that is if they do that, they eliminate a huge level of controlling voter turnout.
Yes.
well, the other part of that also is make it so that, for example, when you get your driver's license or when you do something when you turn 18, you're automatically registered to vote. I shouldn't have to go through extra steps if I'm a citizen to be registered to vote. What state is, I think it's Utah. There's one state that when you
Mhm.
turn 18, you're registered to vote. I think it's if you
Right.
pay taxes or whatever, you're
Right.
registered to vote. If I'm
Which
paying
makes sense.
taxes, I should be registered to vote.
Which makes
Period.
sense.
Makes sense to me. Absolutely. But
So
that's not going to go because of the element of control. You're not going to keep giving people the freedom to do what they want to do. You're going to try to control as much of that flow as possible, and that's on both sides of the party line. At the end of the
yeah,
day, everybody wants to be able to predict the outcome and control the outcome in their favor. And
Right.
yeah.
you know, Ooh,
Speaking of controlling, did y'all
Control.
did y'all hear about Measure 112 in Oregon? So
no.
Measure 112 in Oregon
Is this the
was,
slavery one?
yes, to remove the slavery language from the Oregon Constitution, and it narrowly won. It
There are some
barely
states where
passed.
it didn't pass.
It
There's at least
barely
one state that did
passed.
not pass.
To remove the language of, what is it? Where is it at? The terms, involuntary servitude as a punishment for crime in the Oregon Constitution. So my question is this: why do you still want it in the Oregon Constitution? That's my question. Why?
Because all they read was punishment for a crime.
Oh, you think that's what it was?
I know that's what it was. Because it's the same thing in the 13th Amendment.
Mhm.
As long as they read punishment for a crime, no one who considers themselves a law-abiding citizen is going to have a problem with how criminals are treated.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Now, point of information: there were actually 5 states where that was on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oregon, Alabama,
Right.
Tennessee, and Vermont.
Jeez. Oh my
There was a
God.
fifth
Vermont?
state,
Really?
Vermont,
Wow. Okay.
and Louisiana.
Okay.
Guess which one did not pass it?
Alabama. Don't tell
Vermont.
me Vermont. Are you saying Vermont?
Louisiana.
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 Oh well. That's
I
deep.
mean,
That
Louisiana's like,
the
nope,
deep
we're
south.
still gonna keep you.
oh my God.
Why did
They
that just
wanted
send chills up my spine when you just said
listen.
that?
Yeah, the Louisiana.
This is where research comes in, people.
Mm-hmm,
Just read it. Just find out what
mm-hmm.
Didn't pass. That's deep.
that
Yeah.
is deep.
They're like, nope, we want to keep the slavery language. We like that.
So there's, I mean, I read the articles and stuff, and there was some confusion around the wording, I guess, and it probably speaks to what you said, Kev, about they just see crime. Was it crime and punishment? Is that what you said?
Punishment for a crime.
Punishment for a
Mhm.
crime. That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't really do your research and figure out what it is, yeah, that's a problem. But I do admit, even when I was looking at the ones in Oklahoma about it, some of the wording to some of these things, I'm like, I need a degree just to be able to understand this. Just tell me in layman's terms what the heck this means.
To a lot of people, and I'll say that involuntary servitude. First of all, those two words together, if you
Mhm.
don't add anything else to that, if you don't give that context, that can go so many directions.
It can. Yes, it
But
can.
most
Mhm.
people won't even look at it like that. Oh, you mean prison?
No.
And that's not necessarily
No, no,
that's
no.
not necessarily what they're talking about.
That is not what no, it's not. No.
But
Although when you have the prison pipeline, when you take
Yes.
into account that you have people that are in prison that are being, for they're like, you can earn your keep for 13 cents a day.
Yeah.
It technically is just modern day slavery.
Right.
Technically.
Well, we also know that the prison system within itself it's not a non-profit. It's for
Mm-mm.
profit. I mean, they
Mm-mm.
make money. I mean, states. I mean, Oklahoma. I don't know if they still do this or not, but they did it a few years ago. Still determine the future population of the prisons here in Oklahoma by the percentage of kids that couldn't read by the third grade. That's a problem for me.
Well,
Why not
the
just
other part of that,
Why not just teach the kids to read? Why are we determining the future prison population by kids that can't read by third grade? So that's what we're doing. Okay.
here's the cycle of that though, is that some of these for-profit prisons have in their contracts with the state guaranteed occupancy rates.
Mhm.
So there's an incentive
Yes, there is.
for laws, and there's incentive for policing, and there's an incentive to send people to jail,
Yeah.
so that they don't have to come up with extra money to fulfill the contract and things of that
Right.
nature.
Mhm. Because they say we will have this number or this percentage in there at all times. Yeah.
The villain of Black Panther movies, the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen.
Like any good comedian brings it back to the front.
good
So, yeah.
Lord. Wow. This America.
The other,
Speaking of comedians, I need to tell you all off camera what happened at a comedy show that we went to. Oh, you just remind me to tell you about that.
okay.
Just Niche. Do y'all know who Just Niche is?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, it was. I actually went to the garden to get my stuff. I said, Key, I'll be right back. I'm going to the car real quick.
Okay.
She said, for what? I said, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving along
Yes.
for what we
And
can
and-
talk about on.
And we're moving.
And we're walking.
The other thing that I think that was interesting out of this election was I didn't necessarily expect Texas to flip as far as the governorship. I didn't expect
No.
necessarily Beto to win. But I think the thing that surprised a lot of people was the place of the most recent massacre in Uvalde went overwhelmingly for Abbott, as opposed for a change that could have at least spoken to
Right.
the fact that they were distraught over what happened in their community.
Right. Right.
So, go ahead. D.
No, I was just gonna say, if there's a disconnect between what happened to you, the trauma of what happened to you, and
Right.
those who are truly responsible all the way up the chain,
Right.
if you disconnect that,
Yep.
Mhm.
then people are gonna feel like not to. Let's jump deep. So, yeah,
I'm like,
let's
why
jump
are you
deep.
holding back?
Exactly.
This is what we do.
So
This is not what we do.
there's this, and I'm probably gonna botch up the term, but I've just read about I'm trying to remember trauma bonds.
Mhm.
Trauma bonds that people who go through trauma find themselves having more passion and feeling a sense of more love and commitment to the
Mhm.
people that caused trauma to them.
Mhm.
And if like I said, if there's a disconnect between whose fault it was that all of this was even able to happen and the laws that have been prevented for keeping these kids safe, starts at the top and works its way all the way down. If they don't get that connection, yeah, it would make sense to me why they would come out in droves. We're going to keep doing the exact same thing because we think they have the power to actually help us when they're the ones that abandoned you in the first place.
So you're saying that that's the equivalent of we got a cold, boss. We feel sick, boss. Boss, is we hungry,
Is
boss?
we hungry, boss? Yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. that,
Yeah.
that was deep. But it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. And I think honestly that happens. The higher up you go, the more disconnection there is
Mhm.
to the responsibility that these people have. Um, of why we're unsafe and why we're not covered, why we don't have the things that we need, and why
Right.
things are not moving forward in the way that we swear we say we want
Right.
Mhm.
until it's actually come time for something
When
to
there's time for us
change.
to do
Yeah,
something. Right.
and okay, yeah, you're gonna have to take a risk with the next person. Uh,
Of course.
you're gonna have to take a risk. Do we know exactly what they're gonna do? No, but
It's not.
we sure know what we've already gotten.
Right.
Oh, that we know.
So
It's
yeah,
just a smaller version of Stockholm syndrome. I mean,
Yeah.
not too far from that.
man, I know people probably watching this like, oh Lord, here we go. What 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 in the okay?
If they've watched, they should not be
What happened?
surprised.
I thought this was one gotta go week. What happened?
Oh, this is definitely. Well, we tried to make it one guy to go week.
Right?
We tried last week, but some people won't playing right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
They keep coming
like
back.
like Stit, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
Oklahoma re-elected. I just knew he was gone. I just knew he was gone. And I do. The majority, the majority of the majority of the state and the majority of its population are rural.
Oh yes. Well, because remember it was really, really close, and I remember telling somebody, I said, they don't have any counts from the rural areas yet. All those rural areas are going to be red. Oh man, it's so close. I said it's not. If it's this close right now and she's not ahead, I said it's not
That's
even going to
it.
be close when it's
Yeah.
done. I said it's
Yeah.
a wrap.
And because
And
of that, I was
literally
thinking
like
about
2 hours later, I went,
see
oh yeah,
the value, man, the values of small town rural are just very different from inner
yes,
city
they
living.
are. They
They're
are.
just different, and so they're always going to be divided until somebody gets a clue on how to speak that language
Right.
with and translate those values to the smaller towns and the smaller communities who
And-
want less government
Right.
and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and tax cuts and all that, this, that, and the other. Until you can speak that language and make what you want make sense to them, it's never going to change.
Yeah, if you're not having a conversation that resonates with them and you can't read the room very well, then you're never going to get them. Never. It's not going to happen.
Well, here's the other part of that though. Because if we're going to talk about burning it all down and starting all over, I've made this statement before. If you look at even just the breakdown of how the election went, if we're looking red versus blue,
Right.
Population wise, especially when we're talking about houses and Senate representatives, there is a disconnect and a disproportion as far as the number of people that are choosing something versus who's actually their representation. Okay. Because we know, for example, Florida is completely red, and that was due to breaking up and redistricting and really just eliminating the power of people's votes,
which they didn't hide. I mean,
no, they were like, we're cutting you all out.
Yes.
But then now, something I was watching is there's also this conversation of, are 2 senators per state still right? And it's still the just thing to do? Because, for example, California, let's just take a large state, large population. California gets 2 senators. Montana, which has like 5 people living there, also gets 2 senators. So the number of people that are represented,
it's not 5, it's 9.
Right. I mean,
it's 9. With the new TV show, the new season just came out. A couple of people moved to Bozeman, so
I'm just saying. And there, Okmulgee could invade Montana and
take over. Yes.
Hey, I don't know, bro. Them Joes can shoot in Montana. Hey,
you don't know the people we knew in Okmulgee.
Man, listen.
I haven't met those people, but they're out there in the wilderness with wolves and bison and all right, bears.
Listen,
tigers.
I'm just gonna say, I hear
there's more cattle than people in Montana.
Say it again.
Yeah.
There's more cattle than people in Montana,
and horses. You know how many wild horses are in Montana? A lot.
But they get 2 senators, and California gets 2 senators. So the representation per capita is highly skewed.
Right.
Now, we try to do that some with the representatives.
Yeah, they've done it somewhat with the representatives, yes.
But if the senators also have as much power as the Senate seems to have, then we're talking about a difference in representation, which then opens up again, why do we need the Electoral College again? Just because, I'm sorry, slavery. You're right. That's the answer. Okay. The answer for a lot of questions in America, slavery.
I just recently saw a brother with a T-shirt that said, "I'm 5/5 human."
There's gonna be a whole lot of people that are confused by that. Just letting you know, there's gonna be
don't understand the significance of that.
Just Google the statement. I promise you, the history of it will come up.
5/5.
5/5 human.
That. Oh my God! Just
you're more than that, man. You're all human. You're all human. You're not just 5/5.
Oh my God! I guarantee you, there's people looking at a shirt. Why would you wear that shirt?
Right. Unless you know your history, you have no idea.
Ooh.
Did they know history or math? Yeah, either one.
Well, I'm also just thinking, what if we do a shirt called 3/5 Lives Matters?
That would be worse. That would be even more controversial.
Yeah, I need you to make that shirt right now.
Because the truth is, you know what? Now that I think about it,
now
the majority of people wouldn't even get it.
No, they wouldn't, because they don't know history. Oh, Kev, please make that shirt, bro. I need that in the comment.
But somebody will read that. Oh, you saying 3 out of 5 lives matter? So my 2 out of 5 lives don't matter? Is that what you're saying? Which 3 are we talking about?
Oh God. The level of confusion.
I take that back. I can't wear that shirt.
I can't, no.
Because I'm like, just go read a book. Go sit down in the corner and read a book.
I'd have to spend most of my day explaining it.
Yes,
my
I can't
goodness.
wear that shirt.
Mm-mm,
I can't do it.
I
Oh,
just,
but
I
I
just,
want
now
to
you
so
got my
bad.
curiosity up. I want to see what happens.
Yes, can we just?
I might,
Oh
I might just see it on Etsy. See if we can put anything on Etsy.
no,
I
you know
won't
what?
wear it, but
I'm a contact my cousin Mika. Mika Dyer. I said,
Bro,
Mika, I need a shirt.
3/5
yeah.
lives matter.
Ooh, I need 2 shirts. I'm 5/5 human
5/5,
and
baby.
3/5 life. Oh my God, she will fall out. You know what? She'll make it for me. I know she will.
Mhm.
I'm
Oof,
5/5 human. Yes, sir.
oof.
3/5 lives matter.
Ooh, you know how salty.
Let's do it. Let's do
Right,
it.
Hey,
that's deep.
Let's
That
do it.
is deep.
Because only the people who get it, if you know, you
you
know.
know. Hmm.
Oof,
Hmm.
that is so deep. Hey, if I hit up y'all for shirt sizes, y'all know what I'm doing.
Hey, I hear you. I
Just
hear
letting
you.
you know. Oof, 3/5 lives matter. Oh,
Love it. Love it.
oh, yes.
Love it. Absolutely.
What, what, are, what are they talking about?
What,
Are
is,
we
Uh,
what does
doing?
that shirt mean? That's
Are
the
we
one I'm
doing?
waiting on.
We
What does
doing
that
math?
mean?
What is that?
mhm.
Google it.
Right. Google. Google is
Yep.
your friend.
Google
Yep.
is your
Google is your
friend.
friend.
Yes, it is. Google is your friend.
Yes. Google is your friend.
So hopefully we're done with the elections. I know we have the runoff coming up. I think pretty much we're still waiting for some of the House of Representatives to be decided. We'll see.
Yeah, we're still waiting on some of those. Yeah, it's going to
I
be a
keep
minute.
refreshing Twitter just to see because they're expecting that the orange one will announce his candidacy again.
He said the orange one.
He was, well, yeah, he was being encouraged to wait until after the Georgia runoff, in particular. But they don't. I'm like, when has he ever done?
What they want him to do.
Well,
When has he ever done anything?
he's already started campaigning because he's already bad mouthing DeSantis.
Hmm.
He's been bad mouthing DeSantis though,
I mean, even more than ever. I mean, it's like every other hour. I'm like, bro,
because DeSantis is the only one that actually proposes a threat to him.
and that's why. Yeah,
Because DeSantis is trying to be um, just another version of him. A lot of their rhetoric is very similar.
it
Which
is.
is, I think, which is the point. DeSantis actually proved this last go around that he could almost out Trump.
Hmm.
He's like, "Oh, this works. Oh, I got
Hmm.
this.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
shoot.
got
To
this."
be honest, the DNC may want Trump to be the nominee. Just to be honest, they may want that. I
Well,
don't
and
want that.
yeah, I mean, I think that we're due for. In all honesty, I think probably the thing that the Democratic Party needs to do more than likely is to one reshuffle, even though Biden would be the incumbent, would be to at least float the idea of someone else. Um, just because here's the thing: if we're talking about a Biden versus Trump, we're talking 80-year-olds
Yeah, and but that's
fighting
that's
on the
that's
basketball court.
what you're
I'm
asking has been unprecedented. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen.
Right.
I'm not saying that I'm against it. That's just unprecedented. You know how these individuals are when it comes to doing something. We don't want to waste it on this. I mean, you know how they are.
Hmm.
So
it. I honestly think if they were going to do it, they're going to take the serious consideration at this one because, and
well, this is the one to do it with. Yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
because you're right, man. Again, and I've asked this question in the last election. Why do we keep electing our grandparents?
No, great grandparents. Sorry. These are great grandparents
Mhm.
in theory because
Yeah,
we're
these two. Yeah.
talking they're both 76, 78 years old.
Mhm. Are we sure?
They
Biden's got to be like 98 years old, bro.
He
That birth
talks like it.
certificate can't. That birth certificate can't be
yeah.
right.
He talks like it.
He's got to be like 98 years old, dude.
So
I mean, he's like the Crypt Keeper's cousin. It is not pretty at all.
There's
Yeah.
just, and the thing that scares me about Biden is there just seems to be no bite behind his bark.
None.
None. And so, yeah,
He didn't have much when he ran 2 years ago. There are a couple of times it came up, but yeah, 4 years before that, there was a lot of biting out, but that was 6 years ago though.
But that was before he was replaced by his clone.
right. So just real quick, I know we're about to run out of time because I want to ask you guys. So let's just pretend that the Democratic Party is like, okay, we've convinced the man, take this 4 years. You did what you set out to do
Right.
30 something years ago. Okay, you finally made it, but for the sake of the country and for the sake of the party, can we consider a segue? Who would they pitch?
Right now, the main one that they're pitching is Newsom out of California. They're bypassing Kamala and saying that the only way that they might do or get anything different is if they were to run Biden again and have him resign shortly after the election and pass it off to Kamala. And then, or there's even been a talk of having Biden switch out Kamala for Newsom, just because Newsom is kind of the one that they're saying would probably make their best fit or their best candidate going forward out of what they have currently. Beto has proven that he can produce energy, but not enough energy.
Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
No,
there's no one now. Because here's the thing: if we're honest, Obama came out of nowhere.
True. He did.
I remember. Yeah, Buttigieg. I don't think Buttigieg won't be able to garner the majority of the country.
There's still that stigma with the
he holds his own when he's on the morning shows.
Yes,
does a phenomenal job, but I don't think that he'll be able to do that across the country and connect and resonate with a lot of people. Part of it, if we're honest, part of that has to do with his sexual preference.
Exactly.
If we're honest.
What's up, Steve Nation? Sorry. What's up, buddy? I'm glad you're listening.
But yeah, so it's interesting when we talk about Obama. I remember our friend Jesse when he gave the speech at the Democratic convention.
Right.
I texted my boy Jesse and was like, that might be the next guy, and he was like, "No, that's not it." And sure enough, 4 years later, we were talking Obama.
Yeah.
So
now, whatever conversation you had with him, because I remember that whatever conversation you had with him, I don't know if he watched it again, because when he came to me, he said, "Darren, you need to watch this. This guy, this guy just watch this guy's rise."
Yeah, when he spoke, people were like, "Who is that?"
Or did you text us both and give us a heads up?
I may have done you both. I think it may have been both of you.
That's what I think. I think you texted us both and gave us a heads up.
I was like, "No, this guy, this ain't Jesse Jackson talking about you can be tall, play basketball up against the wall." This guy was legit.
But real.
But you're not wrong, though. That's Jesse Jackson. Yeah.
So
there was a podcast about Obama and his his meteoric rise.
Yeah.
And how, because they were trying to key in on what was the perfect storm that made you go, we've got a window, we've got a shot.
Right.
And to go for it, And so he kind of described that they just had a sense that there's a gap that he knew he could fill at that time,
right?
And they felt like it was worth going for it. So when he got the invite to do the speech and he nailed it, it brought so much attention to the power brokers, if you will, that it just made sense. Once they were like, "Hey, had you thought about possibly because this is a gap. Somebody's got to take this. Like there is no incumbent. Somebody's got to take this.
Right.
We think you can handle, their front runner," and he did.
He did.
He did
handle it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't even close. Either election.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't even close.
And the amazing thing was he did it with and walking away from that whole thing with deep respect.
Yes.
That's just that we haven't seen that
That doesn't
Ever?
happen often. That doesn't happen often.
ever.
No.
That the family of your
Clean, bro. Walked away clean. You don't hear anything about the daughters. You don't hear anything about Michelle Obama. You don't hear anything about him, bro. It's almost like a clean. It's crazy.
the craziest thing I've heard so far, I believe it was Sasha. They tried to have a problem with her having a designer bag at school.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many thousands of schools where these kids don't walk around with designer bags. They walk around with designer cars.
Yeah.
And she can't have a designer bag.
A designer bag.
Is that
Like,
what we're doing?
dude,
Seriously,
you
that's
want to
what
be
we're
worried
doing.
about her designer bag as she has secret security escort her everywhere.
Because the biggest. Do you remember the tan suit uproar for Obama?
Oh, they were upset because he wore a tan suit. Seriously? That's
You ain't
what
got
we're
nothing
doing?
else. You ain't got nothing else.
You have to be picky. You got to be granular. You got to look for something.
Listen,
Now,
the
you
dude
know if he
is
was from
boring.
Detroit, though. You know if he was from Detroit, though, he'd probably come out with some.
Oh yeah,
with a fuchsia suit and some gators.
Don't forget the fedora.
Hey,
The feather, the cap,
Yes, sir.
the cane. Come on
Yes,
now.
sir. Don't forget, man. But yeah, he
he's got that little. He's got that giddy up in his walk too. Let's not forget that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. As far as the statesman is concerned, devoid politics. As far as the statement is concerned, I don't think we've seen the presence of someone who could represent us nationally as cleanly and respectfully.
Well, who did we see before that?
That's what I said. In my lifetime, I'm trying to think.
And
Now,
ours,
Reagan was given that credit.
yes.
Reagan was given that credit that he was this senior statesman representative globally. But the reality,
Jimmy Carter kind of. I mean, we were all young with Jimmy Carter, but
I know, right? But even with Jimmy Carter's because he became what an ambassador, and
he
was
became an ambassador
sent
across
on
the
so
world.
many goodwill missions
and
as a result. Right, because the globe respected him, but I believe that was tainted and tarnished by the several mistakes that he made while he was in office.
He did. He made quite
So
and there was a lot of international implications that were happening there too, as far as Iran and stuff like that.
Right.
For Jimmy,
which was honestly one of the reasons why he didn't win the election.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how old you are. I think I was 10. I was in 5th grade, or it was 9. I was about to be turned. Literally, after he was sworn in, they were released like within a matter of weeks.
Hours. Weeks.
Yeah, because he said, if you do not release them, we're pretty much taking y'all out.
Yeah.
And which could have been done before. And that was really one of the things that made him lose the election. So
I believe that.
Yeah. It was a long time, man.
So that's it for this one. We're going to wrap it up just because we're at our time. Just to point out again, the Lakers are 3-10.
I needed to go.
Kerry Lake lost.
Recap.
Herschel Walker
is still talking
that America is the greatest country in the United States.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
and
sir.
This has been Chop It Up for this week. We'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.